You know, I always think when I come out that I should be able to make good images from just about anything. I mean, it's easy when you go to the grand locations and the big scenes, but when you come to somewhere local and familiar and there's not an obvious shot, I think it takes a lot more skill. And I think that's probably what hones us as photographers, is trying to see something where other people will miss things. I mean, this location has got some drama and some amazing scenes really, and quite iconic spots like the lighthouse and the fort, but I've shot them before and just shot straight as they are. I think they're quite boring, so I think I'm going to have to do something a little bit different if I want to put my stamp on it. I mean, I was expecting it to be quite dull and wet today, so I'm pleased to see some beautiful skies behind me. And I have got some shots of Liverpool I could take, but as I said, I do want to do something a bit simpler. And I brought less equipment, so I won't be hampered by weight or complexity or choice, so time to get my eye in. Now, these are very interesting little structures here. Not quite sure what they are. Something organic by the look of them. May make an interesting shot if I can get something with the bit of seaweed nearby. Let me just preview for a while. And the problem I have with some of it is there's not a huge amount of differentiation because I'm shooting black and white with HP5+. It's quite bright now. There's not much difference between the greens and the browns, so I'm going to need something quite strong if it's to actually have any impact. Well, there were a few of these little, I don't know what they are, whether it's some sort of like, I'm not sure what it is to be honest, somebody will inform me, far more knowledgeable, but there are quite a few of them knocking around, these little organic type structures, so it's just a question of finding one that's sufficiently well lit to stand out. So yeah, just give me a minute. Now, this is the most interesting one I've found so far. I've got a bit of weed next to it, so I'm going to put my 60mm macro lens on, stand directly above it and take it straight on, probably about f8 or so.
Well, it wasn't really that strong enough as it stands at the moment. There's not enough separation there, and it does sit at the bottom of the frame on its own. But I did find by actually changing the crop, the aspect ratio, it stood out better. It runs along the diagonal of this frame, and also it takes up more of the frame, so it's more prominent, so not bad.
Well, that is the iconic lighthouse. Now, tide's out. I don't want to shoot the whole lighthouse, but I do like the little ladder leading up to it, up to the door. If I can get close enough with my 85mm, it may make an interesting close-up. By the way, this roll of HP5+ I've got in my Nikon FE. I had it in last week when I went for a walk around Liverpool, so I may just throw a few of those shots in. I was going to say unrelated, but it's just over the water, over my shoulder, Liverpool. So yeah, if there's a musical bit in between, an interlude, I'll include some of those. If I get too close to the lighthouse, I'll be tilting my camera upwards and things will start to converge, so I may have to stay around this area here, further back, put my 85mm on and see if I can crop in sufficiently to avoid the distortion. Now I have to get considerably closer. I need a longer lens. I've only got the 85mm with me as the longest, so let's just have a little look-see and see how close I can get before disappearing into some soft sand. Oh, look at that, that looks nice, doesn't it, around the base with the light. Ooh, tempting. Well, do you know, I am going to have one of the lighthouse, having said I won't shoot it. I'm here, some great light on it, some lovely cloud around it. Put the 35mm gentle wide angle on, I think, and shoot straight up. Cliche.
Well, I've not even bothered to process this. It's straight out of scanner. Man, it's bland, it's rubbish, it's nothing at all. And even the one I took of the ladder and the sort of the pipes running in there, It's quite interesting. It might work as a lith print, but nothing to write home about, is it?
Okay, so having just gone back on what I said at the start of this video, shot an icon, as I always say, if you're here and it looks good, shoot it. So I'll have a little wander around the other side of the lighthouse. Probably won't shoot it into the sun, but what a magnificent structure. Just look at that. Isn't that fantastic? And uber photogenic. Now, these shells look good, but they're a little bit too many of them and a bit too messy. I'm sure I can find areas elsewhere. Ooh, no, there's some lovely ones here, but I'll show you a preview shot from the device now. Some lovely ones, but they're a bit mixed up with other stuff. Now, the tide is on the turn. It's about 10:30 in the morning. It's coming back in now. But the sky is absolutely fantastic. So with my 35mm gentle wide angle, I have just taken a vertical shot of the water lapping in, the cranes and some of the amazing cloud detail.
I mean, I probably need to be a little bit more aggressive with the processing here and do something else with the sky. And I think there's a bit too much foreground for my liking, so nah.
Now, something people often ask is, how do you manage to integrate taking video with concentrating on still images? And it's hard. I think many YouTubers will have alluded to that in the past, and really sometimes you have to just go with the flow. Take clips when you're not seeing anything, and when you see something, don't use the video camera for a while. Work out the shot, get the shot, and then go back and video it. Or you can actually, if it's like me with a GoPro, you can set the video up quite easily while you're snapping away, but there's no doubt it does detract sometimes from your attention, but it also makes you think more about what you're shooting, and perhaps makes you a little bit more careful, because obviously your results are going to be on screen. Well, it's a little bit later now in the morning, afternoon, and I want to pick out some of the more distant details. So I've switched over cameras to the Nikon F100 with the 28-300 stabilized Tamron. That should allow me to get a bit closer than I've been getting, because I've got some fantastic skies, as you can see. I mean, they're absolutely brilliant skies for punchy black and white. So let's see what we get. Now, of course, one of the dangers is that I'll just rack the zoom in and out and stay where I am without thinking about composition. So I am going to have to go a bit slowly, work out the composition first, then decide on how to use the camera and what to set the lens to. The flowers look lovely, but they're a bit messy. So there's actually one on its own here which does work a bit better. Definitely worth a frame.
Well, unfortunately, the sound around the flower is not ideal, and it does make it look a bit messy. It means there's a dog paw print in there, so I don't know what I was thinking shooting that.
Now, there are a lot of interesting little beach details around here, but I really don't feel like shooting them with the super zoom lens. It's a little bit of a sledgehammer to crack a walnut, but I may come back down here a bit later just with the 60mm macro and really focus on them, literally. Well, I've just popped back to the car because I have found shooting with the super zoom particularly bad. I'm just not concentrating, I'm rushing everything, so I'll have a quick rethink of what I'm going to take out, but it'll probably just be a lens or two and no zooms. Right, I've come out with a 60mm and a 35mm, and I put my hat back on because the cap was getting in my way and getting annoying, so try again.
Well, I initially imagined that these razorfish, these shells, would be the strongest because they're quite dynamic in their orientation in the frame, but actually they didn't work as well as I thought, so I actually decided to back out a little bit.
Well, it is considerably more satisfying to be using the prime lenses again. It's a macro lens obviously as well, so you get to be close in, but it's just so nice not to be worried about racking the thing in and out and worrying about image quality and also what particular aperture or focal length. 60mm lens, maybe move to the 35, it just feels right.
So I was having some misgivings about shooting at this wide because there's so much information in the frame, but that's what I actually like about it. I like the sheer volume of shells all mixed together here, the way the tides wash them up, and I do think it works well, and it was actually enlarged into a nice big print.
The light today is absolutely stunning. I wasn't actually expecting it, so I thought I was going to get wet. But the clouds, the contrast, the light falling on the sand dunes is all amazing and just made for black and white.
So this is the big scene, the sort of shots I was imagining I would get with the lens earlier. And I do like it. I mean, I like the scale with the figures in the bottom right hand side. It's not perfect, but it's definitely got the skies to create a real impact. But truly, it was at this point I really started to find my eye. And now, I've looked around here before and I do like the derelict building. It's just falling to pieces really, and there's plaster falling everywhere. So I thought I'd start by going out relatively wide and capturing a little bit of the nature of the building. We know the black and the white with that nice strong line down the vertical. And I would then move in and start to see more of the actual state of the building. Now here, I like this. I mean, it could be anything. And I think the fact that the plaster, there's a render has fallen away in the centre there, hooks very nicely into this shot where you can see that render at the bottom of the frame with a nice crack leading down to it, sort of pointing it out. It's like, you know, here's the rest of me. I'm falling into disrepair. So I did shoot around a few more scenes, and I did get these child's shoes that have been left here. Quite sad, really, and whose they were, and blurred out the background. But it's nothing special. But I couldn't resist shooting it at the time.
Oh, might rain in a minute. I don't know. Got about 12 shots left on this roll. May shoot something else. May get wet. May just retreat to the car because it's there. Yeah, retreat to the car. That's a winner. Well, total ninja there for once. Got in as the rain came down. Just by chance, I was by the car, not by planning. Fantastic day, I must say. More about the photography than the vlogging. So yeah, thanks for coming along and putting up with me wandering around, enjoying myself. The thing is, it was very obvious to me the minute I got the zoom out, the autofocus zoom, that my concentration just left me. I dithered and I messed about with different focal lengths, zooming it in and out, as I always do. I honestly find the zoom works best when I'm on mountain walks and you don't want to carry much and you don't know what you're going to be shooting. So much better when I went back out with the 2 prime lenses. I think I got some nice shots at the end there, especially of the old cracks in the building, the plaster and the derelict stuff. If I don't shoot any more, thank you very much for coming along on this little walkette around New Brighton, and I'll see you again on the next one.